Hey, it's Ben Wants ZOAR Fitness, and this is the name game. Workout number 17 is Jacked Frost. 5 rounds for time with a 10-minute time cap. We got 15 dumbbell bench press at 50 or 35 per hand, 25 dumbbell under over lunge at 50 or 35 a hand, 15 double dumbbell hang power clean at 50 or 35 a hand, and then 25 over under lunge once again. So what the over under lunge means is that you have one dumbbell overhead and one dumbbell at your side like a suitcase carry. So opposite arm goes up and down, so it's under over. And then for most people, obviously you're gonna switch, go in the opposite direction. You don't have to switch, but I would certainly recommend it. And certainly this is like a training. This isn't truly a test. So just because one side's more comfortable, don't do that the whole time. Like switch hands when you go the opposite way. So I'm getting into the strategy. Let's go over standards really quickly though. So for the dumbbell bench press, this is not a movement that we've seen in like the open, so it's not widely standardized. The way I'm gonna standardize it for this workout and the way that I want all the athletes watching this to do this is both heads of the dumbbell must touch your torso. So in other words, that means that you can't really hold it in a traditional bench press grip like this. Like you're gonna have to bring the elbows in and be in sort of a neutral grip position, be able to touch both the heads of the dumbbell to your torso. And this basically just because it's preventing you from, if it was just like a single-headed dumbbell, you could almost do like a little skull crusher where it's just like touch and get like right back up, and you could really limit the range of motion. It wouldn't look like a bench press at all. But yeah, as soon as you go to something like this allows it to be universally standardized and it looks something like a bench press. So just because you're someone who's done a lot of dumbbell bench press or bench press in general, this might not look exactly like this. This is like the sports standardized version of that. So yeah, that's definitely something that I would pay attention to, and that you might be able to kind of finagle and figure out a different way to do it where you don't have to quite make the entire range of motion where, yeah, you might do it a little different than you would do it just for training purposes or accessory work. Then the double hang power clean, again, standards, straight arms in the hang, and then elbows have to be in front of your fist in the front rack. So this would be a no rep, that would be a no rep, this is a rep. So in other words, you have to make sure that when you rotate those dumbbells up, you're not just doing like a kip and curl like this where it stays out in front of you the whole time. You have to make sure that elbow gets through and you actually get into a front rack position. So the dumbbell head has to touch shoulder, and then wrist or elbow has to be in front of the wrist in that position. And then in the lunge, you must start from behind the line and you have to step over the line. So start from behind, 2 toes behind the line, 2 heels over the line, and then your knee has to touch every single step. If it doesn't, you have to go back and restart that rep. Yeah, and basically the under over, you have to have it above your head and you have to have like a straight arm on the bottom. So it doesn't necessarily have to be like completely locked out. However, that's certainly what I would recommend. It's gonna be most efficient. So equipment setup, basically you're gonna set up a bench past the end of the one lunge line, and then 25 feet from there, you're gonna set up, well, that would be the area, set up the area, I guess, so that you're gonna do your dumbbell hang power cleans, which is really nothing. So bench at one end, 25-foot section, you'll end up doing your dumbbell hang power cleans at the other end. And I set this workout up intentionally so that you could do this without ever setting the dumbbells down. So it's like, literally, can you hold on to the dumbbells and go unbroken? So you could, yeah, hold on to them, get into your bench position, which is, by the way, this is all part of it. Like, to efficiently get into setting the dumbbells on your knees, rocking back into that position, then going straight in your reps, and then be able to efficiently get out of that, basically doing like a sit up or like throwing the weights up to assist you. That's all part of your time in this workout, which again, is typically, like bench is typically accessory work. So it's not necessarily something that's been standardized a lot, so it's something that you got to think about in this workout. So it's the same pair of dumbbells, you're walking through this entire thing. So again, this is a really grippy workout. You're going to be holding it in a suitcase carry. When you're holding a dumbbell overhead, you might not realize it a lot, but you definitely do still grasp the dumbbell pretty solidly, even though it's like in a pressing type position. So if you're overhead squat often will actually contribute to grip fatigue if it's a grippy workout, even though people don't necessarily think of it as like a pulling movement. But you still have to grab it, otherwise your hands start to slide out or the implement starts to move around a little bit. So this is certainly going to be a grippy workout in every aspect. Like you're never letting go, so it's going to be grippy. If you can hook grip, do it. I'd recommend taping your thumbs, like I said in last week's video. And then The other thing I really want us to think about is the under-over carry. So this is something that we haven't done a lot of. Like, people have been relatively exposed to like a single arm dumbbell overhead lunge, or like a front rack lunge, or maybe like a farmer's lunge with both dumbbells at your sides. However, the over-under lunge is a little bit different. And really, the thing that makes this challenging is that typically if it's like a front rack lunge, you can, extend your chest quite a bit and kind of get in some extension and arch a little bit to get in that easier position. Whereas if you do that here, like, this arm's going to be pulling you down into like a more neutral position, and this arm still has overhead, so you have to create separation there, and you can't cheat it like a single arm dumbbell overhead where you really get a lot of thoracic rotation, and that's contributing to the movement. So this is going to be a little bit awkward for a lot of people who aren't used to it, and if you don't have great shoulder mobility, it's going to contribute to your fatigue because you're fighting against your own tension in this, which is all part of the reason why I constructed it in this way. So it makes it really tough to cheat shoulder range of motion. So besides that, I think it'll be fun, unique type of workout. More are in the comments below if you're someone who is not part of the protocol or one of my athletes. And if you're someone who's not signed up, you can get a 7-day free trial of the protocol by going to zoarfitness.com/pro. For all my athletes and people following the protocol, best of luck on Jacked Frost.